game.
What do you think is going to happen in that game?
So bad. I hope Justin Gaethje not gonna drink, party, gonna train, dedicate himself. Before he's gonna overstrike him on the fight to wrestle him, and he's gonna, if you need the help, let me know. I'll fly to you and help you. I mean, I want him to.
The upcoming fight featuring Justin Gaethje at China, UFC 324, has created major excitement in the mixed martial arts community, with fighters, analysts, and fans all sharing their opinions on what could be one of the most thrilling matchups of the year, as defeating Justin is never easy. He is known for his toughness, relentless pressure, and ability to turn any contest into a hard, grueling battle.
Really easy.
Yeah, easy.
That's a crazy thing to say because
He doesn't know how to grapple, and Paddy knows
but
that.
he's a Division 1 wrestler. He knows how to grapple. You don't think he knows how to grapple? He just chooses not to.
Did you ever saw him submitting someone?
I don't believe he's ever submitted someone, but I think that's because he likes to just crush people.
Everyone likes is to dominate people and to win as soon as possible. If you have the ability to submit someone as soon as...
I think Justin Gaethje's mindset is to be reasons why he lost some fight.
The upcoming bout involving Paddy Pimblett has drawn mixed reactions, with some critics dismissing it as unnecessary. However, the fight came together largely because reigning champion Ilia Topuria stepped away from competition to focus on deeply personal matters. In late November, Topuria shared on social media that he would not compete during the first quarter of the year, citing the emotional toll of his divorce and his desire to prioritize his children. During a challenging period, his absence created a significant gap at the top of the lightweight division, prompting the Ultimate Fighting Championship to arrange an interim title fight that pairs a seasoned contender with a rapidly rising newcomer, whose swift ascent has both impressed and surprised many observers.
Yeah, dude, Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitement.
Shared the cage with both men during his storied career. Tony Ferguson offered a compelling psychological perspective on the matchup. Rather than concentrating solely on technique or physical attributes, he highlighted the mental dimension of the fight, pointing out that Justin Gaethje carries the weight of past setbacks, having come up short in 2 previous title opportunities. Experiences that can linger and resurface in high-stakes moments like another interim championship bout. The strain of reaching the summit only to fall can be draining, and Ferguson suggested that such history might represent a subtle yet meaningful disadvantage. In contrast, Paddy Pimblett approaches the occasion with fresh excitement and the freedom of someone stepping into a new opportunity without the burden of prior title heartbreak.
Fighting for the interim title, whoever wins that fight will move on to fight Ilia, and I don't think that there will be a title defense for the interim. If I was to bet, there will be no title defense of the interim title. I think that the next Paddy and Justin, I think their next fight will be Ilia Topuria, so do not think they will defend the interim. Clarity at 155 pounds, I feel for
Din Thomas analyzed the matchup from a strategic standpoint, focusing on how the fighters' styles intersect and where key openings might emerge. In his assessment, Paddy Pimblett may have found his most realistic path toward championship contention in this particular contest. The lightweight division remains intensely competitive, stacked with dangerous opponents, including rising threats like Armand Sarukian, whose skill set and physical tools could present serious stylistic problems for Pimblett. Against such elite contenders, executing his preferred game plan would be far more difficult, and he could risk being outmatched in multiple areas. Justin Gaethje, while still a formidable and battle-tested opponent, offers a different type of challenge, one that is more defined and arguably more predictable in structure. No longer carrying the same raw unpredictability that characterizes some of the division's newer surging competitors.
Justin Gaethje, who do you favor in that fight?
I gotta go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that loves to get down and throw fist for fist. And he's also got the Division 1 wrestling to negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's like a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants.
Drawing from his experience as a former champion, Alexander Volkanovski added valuable perspective to the debate. He acknowledged that Justin Gaethje has rediscovered elements of his trademark aggression and still carries serious knockout power, but admitted it's becoming harder to doubt. Paddy Pimblett who continues to prove people wrong, Volkanovski, pointed to Pimblett's strong performance against Michael Chandler, highlighting his discipline and ability to stick to a clear game plan, something that will be crucial against Justin. Meanwhile, Urijah Fabers approached the matchup from a tactical standpoint, favoring Gaethje based on his composure when fights descend into chaos. While both fighters embrace aggressive exchanges and show undeniable courage, Faber emphasized Gaethje's unique comfort in high-pressure, unpredictable battles, suggesting that this connection to controlled disorder could ultimately prove decisive.
The first thing that comes to mind when you think of that fight with Justin.
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man. One of my favorite guys to watch. So but
want to be Justin Gaethje, you must.
So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket and he's going to hit. If you don't meet him, the way to beat a guy who does that, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave and you got to go. You have to shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not and throw when he throws in between his shots, really long night. It's gonna be
Eddie Alvarez, the man who handed Justin Gaethje his first loss in the UFC, offered a unique perspective shaped by first-hand experience. Rather than focusing purely on talent, Alvarez argued that the outcome would hinge on how intelligently Paddy Pimblett prepares for the relentless intensity Gaethje brings. According to Alvarez, Justin's pressure is extraordinarily difficult to replicate in training. The nonstop strikes, suffocating pace, and constant physical and mental strain leave little room to breathe. If Pimblett surrounds himself with sparring partners who cannot mirror that level of chaos and aggression, he risks being unprepared when the real storm hits on fight night. Alvarez expressed no doubts about Pimblett's courage or determination, but warned that trying to adapt in real time to Gaethje's ferocity without having truly felt it before could be a costly and potentially disastrous challenge inside the cage.
They're just basically saying Paddy's more popular, you're getting it over Armin.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? And that's, I mean, God, I hate kind of get into this too much, but I mean, that's really that's the definition of, monopoly, where a single promoter owns the title and the rankings. It's not a good thing for the sport, in my opinion. And the question, what it's going to do for the longevity of the sport, I don't think in the short term it's really going to make a big difference, right? It's going to sell the next fight, right? It's going to sell the next pay-per-view. But trends tend to come and go, right? Fads tend to come and go. At some point,
Charles Oliveira shared insight based on his first-hand experience against Justin Gaethje in their unforgettable lightweight title clash, where he weathered Gaethje's explosive striking before securing a submission victory. Oliveira emphasized how dangerous and unpredictable Gaethje can be on the feet, warning that prolonged exchanges could be costly. In his view, Paddy Pimblett possesses solid stand-up skills and strong grappling, but his smartest approach would be to avoid trading punches and instead rely on wrestling and ground control. Choosing to strike recklessly, Oliveira suggested, could lead to disaster, whereas a disciplined grappling strategy might open a path to victory, though he ultimately leaned toward Gaethje prevailing. Meanwhile, Matt Brown broadened the discussion, questioning what the matchup represents in the modern Ultimate Fighting Championship landscape. Brown implied that Pimblett's rapid rise to an interim title opportunity reflects marketing momentum and popularity as much as competitive merit, especially when compared to contenders like Musesa, Arman Tsarukyan, Mohchan, who have built their cases through victories over elite opposition. His comments carried skepticism about the sport's direction, suggesting that hype and social media influence may now rival pure athletic achievement in determining who gets a shot at gold.
To have staying power and lasting, there's, a meritocracy-based system. It's going to require, if you want to bring in guys like Arman Tsarukyan or Movsar Evloev, I always mess up how I say his name. You want to bring in these Olympic wrestling level guys. I mean, they don't want to have to go out there and put on some ridiculous show to become a champion. They don't want to have to go on Instagram and start a podcast and make whatever, and this silly kind of stuff. Like, they just want to be a world champion because they want. That's what makes me wonder how the staying power is going to be, right? When you're dealing with guys that are, legitimate athletes that want to be legitimate athletes, and they're getting passed up.
Justin Gaethje has made his intentions unmistakably clear, fully aware of the narrative surrounding this matchup. He recognizes that many fans and observers would have preferred to see Paddy Pimblett face Islam Makhachev for the undisputed lightweight title, given the intrigue created by their rising profiles and contrasting styles. This fight has even drawn comparisons to the long-anticipated yet unrealized showdown between Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov, a clash that captivated attention but never came to fruition. Gaethje, however, seems energized by the idea of disrupting that narrative, embracing the role of spoiler. He has openly stated his goal: to win decisively on January 24th, derail Pimblett's hype, and put on a performance that forces everyone to reconsider their expectations and acknowledge him as the legitimate next contender.
But I have no issue, with the grappling department, and my ability to keep people from taking me down is second to none. So he's going to have to, punches and kicks and moves, and then, if that happens, then he'll have a better chance. But this is such a crazy game, you just never know. Maybe I'll...
Paddy Pimblett enters the fight with the confidence of someone who always believed he would reach this stage. He has stated that competing for a title felt inevitable, and facing a seasoned veteran like Justin Gaethje for interim gold represents a fitting acknowledgement of his journey. Looking ahead, Pimblett envisions not only defeating Gaethje, but also overcoming Ilia Topuria to claim the undisputed lightweight championship, defending that title, and eventually moving up to welterweight to capture gold in a second division. These ambitious goals reflect remarkable self-belief, even if some critics argue they may be premature, given his current record.
But feel bad saying it because I've kind of tired him.
Is that where you think he is in his career? You think?
I think he's on the precipice of retiring. He said himself he was going to retire if he didn't get a title shot, so he's not going to get another title.
Leading up to the fight, Paddy Pimblett expects a professional and respectful environment, rather than the manufactured animosity often seen in major Tulsi Ultimate Fighting Championship events. Having faced Justin Gaethje previously, he found him to be courteous and personable outside the cage. Pimblett draws parallels to his bout with Michael Chandler, while acknowledging that everything changes once the cage door closes. He has expressed genuine respect for Gaethje, recognizing him as a formidable competitor whose fights consistently deliver high-intensity, entertaining contests.
So I'm looking forward to one.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, of course. Always want one.
So you never had a war you want to start it by doing it with Justin Gaethje?
Yeah.
Where's your head at, man?
It's just firmly screwed on my shoulders, lad, but people are laughing at me when I'm saying I'm going to stand with him, but I am. People think that I'm just going to shoot in the first 10 seconds. I'm not. I'm going to stand with him, and I'm going to put it on him, and people are going to be like, wow, we weren't lying. He's more of a boxer with leg kicks, and I'm an MMA striker. I don't do just boxing or Thai boxing or kickboxing or taekwondo or karate. I'm an MMA striker, and you'll see that.
Insights from fighters and analysts underscore just how complex and unpredictable this matchup is. Some point to Justin Gaethje's experience and proven ability to thrive amid chaos as decisive advantages, while others highlight Paddy Pimblett's current momentum and talent for finding unexpected paths to victory as reasons not to count him out. What is certain is that on January 24th in Las Vegas, two highly motivated competitors with everything on the line will step into the cage to determine who advances as the interim champion and whose title aspirations, at least temporarily, will be put on hold.